Hi, I'm Laura D. Pusey, the founder of Dipism Death in Practice, and this is the channel where we are talking the things on dying, death, life, and grief. Each week I answer a question and I say it as I see it because I've seen a lot. In the last video, I answered the question, what is cortisol and how does that affect grief? If you have any questions about that video, or you want me to answer a question for you, drop me an email at deathinpractice@gmail.com. Okay, let us now open the veil of luminescence. With the intention of infinite truths, by the pulse of sacred light, I call forth the veil of luminescence. I anchor this veil in sovereign light to transmute and contain all energetic imprints, attachments, and residues across all realms. The material plane, where grief etches into the body. The emotional plane, where sorrow swells and purges. The mental plane, where stories of loss seek resolution. The astral plane, where echoes of the departed linger. The interdimensional corridors, where ancestral and cosmic threads intertwine. The parallel universes, where grief and grace mirror each other. This veil, woven of remembrance and radiance, is encoded with clarity to discern what is yours and what is not. Containment to protect your field, compassion to honour the sacred work of grief, transmutation to alchemize pain into wisdom. Let this veil shimmer between worlds, holding space for the divinity of each soul, the teachings where presence dissolves suffering, the soul's awakening where death births depth, the healing where grief becomes grace. This veil is not a wall but a sacred membrane, allowing only what aligns with truth, love, and remembrance to pass through. By the breath of the infinite, by the pulse of the sacred, I seal this veil with sovereignty and light. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wagwan, hello, how are you, and all the rest. I trust that all is good in your world. In the last two lectures, we have spoken about oxytocin and cortisol. Today, we're going to talk about dopamine. What is it? Well, it is a neurotransmitter, often called the motivation or reward chemical. It's a brain thing flowing through neurotransmitters that communicate between neurons. Oftentimes, when someone we love dies or leaves our lives for whatever reason, we can be left feeling quite rotten inside and out. It would help if we knew what was going on within, because we can then guide our own grief journey with more awareness. We can also be more considerate of others and aware that more may be going on with them if they snap at us or distance themselves or make seemingly unwise decisions. Dopamine is the naturally occurring chemical that is involved in our pleasure and enjoyment, our motivation and drive, and our reward and reinforcement. We don't often consider these things as chemically induced, but today we're going to break it down. It's less about feeling happy and more about wanting, seeking, and engaging with life. It's the urge that makes you do something that you want to do. It's the urge that has you getting up and making plans and moving forward. It's that I'm a go get it kind of energy. That's dopamine. So, how does dopamine affect our grief? Well, as we have learned in the past lectures, grief doesn't just hurt emotionally, it also disrupts our brain's reward system, and that is what dopamine controls. When someone we love has died, we can find ourselves experiencing a loss of motivation as our levels of dopamine activity drop. We can be left with a why bother feeling, as things that used to feel meaningful may now feel flat or pointless. You might struggle to start tasks or care about goals, and even the basic things can feel like a huge effort. This isn't laziness, it's your brain's motivation system being affected by your grief. Enjoyment is the reward that we all seek. When our dopamine levels are low, we may also experience a reduction in our ability to experience pleasure. Dopamine is key for our enjoyment. So in grief, the activities you once loved may bring little or no joy. You might feel emotionally numb at times and just disconnected from those around you who seem to be fitting in or getting along just fine. This is sometimes called anhedonia and is very common in grief. It takes time, but as our dopamine levels start to increase, we can find ourselves experiencing more pleasure as time goes on. Naturally, when someone we care about has died or left our lives in some way, we will experience a deep sense of longing and seeking of the person. As I explained in our lecture 26, our brains are still wired to expect those that we are bonded to. Oxytocin helped to build that bond, so the absence of that person creates a kind of biological withdrawal, which causes our brain to seek the person, and that intensifies the longing and the sadness. Dopamine is tied to that wanting, yearning, and seeking. Your brain doesn't just stop looking for the person who has gone. It wants the reward of seeing them again. And that strong desire dominates your thoughts and even your dreams. In a way, your brain is still trying to complete a reward loop that cannot be completed anymore because that person has now gone. I spoke to an old client of mine recently who went to a UB40 tribute concert, thinking that it would be a great night with friends. The evening actually triggered memories and painful emotional spikes. I insist that music is a portal for time travel. When you hear a song from the past, you're taken back to that time, the emotions you felt and the people you were vibing with back then. The person who has died is now up close and personal in your mind. Perhaps they are smiling and dancing and singing along with all of the words. Songs, places, and regular routines that remind you of the person activate your dopamine pathways, leaving you with the sudden emotional waves and a mixture of comfort and pain. You've gone back to a time when things were good, but then you remember they're no longer here. and the story of their departure also comes flooding back in. Damn you, dopamine. We can experience difficulty re-engaging with life because dopamine drives our forward movement. Planning for the future can feel overwhelming or meaningless, so it may take time before you feel ready to reconnect with other people or even your life goals. Don't let anyone force you back into the routines of your life. You must give yourself time to adjust to this new you and your new future that may now be completely different to what you had previously expected. So, let's have a quick recap on the dopamine alongside cortisol and oxytocin. These three systems interact during grief and directly affect it. Cortisol often goes up, affecting your stress and anxiety and keeping you in survival mode. Oxytocin attaches you to others, allowing you to bond and connect with others. And when it is disrupted, the connection is lost. It causes you to mourn and yearn for them. Dopamine is your motivation and is looking for the reward of your loved one's return. It has you watching the door or walking into a room and expecting them to be there. Your dopamine often goes down, leading to the loss of motivation and pleasure. That combination explains why grief can feel like deep sadness and exhaustion, disconnection and a lack of drive, and a desire for relief, but no energy to seek it. Dopamine isn't just about missing someone, it's about losing a sense of direction and purpose and struggling to feel interested in life again. This is what we must understand about grief. It's deep, and these naturally occurring chemicals that we are working with, they're working silently within us without our knowledge, and they are controlling so much of our experience every single day. My friend, slowly, gradually, and together, we are relearning how to engage with our bodies and this world. Let's keep going. Don't forget, you need to go deeper for yourself. Perhaps I have triggered something inside you that I am completely unaware of. It's for you to explore in order for you to figure out yourself. If you have any thoughts about anything in this video and you want to share your thoughts with me, then drop me an email at deathinpractice@gmail.com. Please state clearly whether or not any of your email can be shared. If you would like a one-to-one with myself or one of my grief practitioners, contact us at www.dipism.com. The workbooks Tapestries of Grief and My Life's Tapestry are available on Amazon, and the basic Dipism end-of-life course that helps you to assist those at the end of their lives, and the Dipism Cultural Grief Awareness course that helps you to assist those who are grieving, are both now available online. If you know someone who needs to see this video or would benefit from end-of-life or grief services, don't be a ninny. Share the video far and wide. You never know who is struggling, thinking that they are abnormal as their bodies continue their normal processes. As always, all of my links are in the description box below. Now, let us close the veil of luminescence. Hey there. Before we close the veil of luminescence, I need your help. We now have the Grief and Loss Community Group CIC, which is a community interest company. I've set this up because our grief is in a bad way and we need something that is for us and by us to help us to understand our grief and gain an awareness of death in a more uplifting way. If you resonate with these videos and want to get involved with the national Grief and Loss Community Group, please reach out through the Grief and Loss Community Group at gmail.com. With our support and funding, you could set up a grief hub in your area or train to become a Dipism end-of-life guide or peer support grief practitioner. We need you and those approaching death or are grieving the death of a loved one. They need you too, just as you are. Contact us. By the breath of the infinite, by the pulse of the sacred, I honour the veil of luminescence now fulfilled. This veil, once summoned to transmute and contain, has held the field with clarity, compassion, and sovereign light. As the teachings settle and the soul integrates, I call forth the sacred closure of this veil across all realms. On the mental plane, let the body rest in renewal. On the emotional plane, let sorrow soften into spaciousness. On the mental plane, let stories find stillness. On the astral plane, let echoes return to source. Through interdimensional corridors, let threads untangle. Across spheres and planetary systems, allow contracts to be honoured and released. Let all residues now return to their rightful place, dissolved, dispersed, or transmuted by sovereign light. Let the veil fold inward, encoded with discernment to preserve what is true, containment to seal what is sacred, compassion to cradle what remains tender, and wisdom to carry forth what has been alchemized. This veil is reabsorbed into the soul's archive, a luminous record of presence, grief, and transformation. By the breath of the infinite, by the pulse of the sacred, I seal this veil with sovereignty and light.